There's nothing more important than the safety and the health of our children. There is nothing in government that is that demanding than trying to find a solution to a problem that exists, a solution that we know is out there, a solution that has a problem that has no boundaries. Drug addiction is just not with the poor. It's not in the poor parts of our communities. Last year, 53 individuals died from an overdose of heroin. 53. Their lives came to an end because of trying heroin. Unbelievable that that is occurring. And that is what we are facing. And the only way we are going to try and have a ghost of a chance of solving this is communicate. Parents need to communicate with their children. You only try heroin once, because after that, you've been addicted. I applaud you for what you're doing, Christina, and the group here. Community involvement, working hand in hand with the business community, working hand in hand with the government, working hand in hand with other communities. We are all in this together. And we, by working together, will hopefully solve this problem. Will it ever come to a complete closure? Maybe not. But if we can control it and educate our little ones in grade school that drugs are bad, drugs are deadly. Those are the conversations that we need to hold at home. And it's so important that this starts with our parents talking to our children.
Not only did I want to help kids, but I want to really get the message out there and know that I'm doing the right thing. 3 weeks ago, I had a kid come in my office that I represented on a drug DUI, and reached out to parents, friends, and everyone. And part of his sentence was that he was to, do alcohol counseling, do some drug counseling, community service, but he also wanted to go into the military. Well, in order for him to go into the military, he got a term of what's called court supervision. As long as you are under the control of the court, the military will not accept you. And so part of the deal was to cut that time short, as long as he did all of his programs. But so this was a promise that we had made to the prosecutor, but the military isn't giving us a letter saying, "Oh, we'll take them," because they just can't do that. So this was just kind of a an open-ended promise. Well, 3 weeks ago, he came into my office with a picture frame of him in his Marine uniform. And he had a note on there that said to Reagan, "Thank you for believing in me."
The numbers are huge. The numbers are saying, Will County, we've got to do more. The numbers are saying, that could be my child. See, the problem is, what I want you to think is look to the left or right. It could be your neighbor's child. If you love your neighbor, it could be your nephew. It could be down the road, any minute, a police officer, or, sorry to say, a coroner could be coming to your house. but we don't know. We've got to come together. Why are you here? You're here because you know that you have to do something to make a difference. If you walk out of here today, I'm going to ask you this. I want you to take a good look in the mirror and say, is that my kid? Is that my neighbor? You see, it never really bothers other people until it happens to them. But if this is your community, it's happening to you. Our kids are growing up every single day with a man on the outside trying to dictate our life. With a man in the next county, the man in the next city trying to tell us what to do. Sometime you've got to draw the line. We made a vow to draw the line today. I'm going to ask you a very serious question. How much do you care about your community? Do you care just about Wilmington? Or do you care about the next community? Because that's great that you care about Wilmington, but I got news for you. You can stay at Wilmington all day long, but there's other communities where the drugs are coming out in. If we don't do something about Joliet and the other surrounding counties, Kankakee, which is Kankakee County, if we don't stop it out there and talk to them, it'll always be in Wilmington. We have to work together. We need your support. I'm going to ask you one serious question. In order to make a change, you have to draw the line. Today, I ask you from the bottom of your heart, if you are tired of kids being hooked on heroin, if you're tired of kids drinking and driving and we have to do something about it, please stand. Please stand. This is your support. This is your neighbor. This is your law enforcement agencies. You see, united we stand, divided we fall. What you're doing right now is a first sign of unity that I've ever seen in a city coming together in one place. Every coalition does it because now you have support right here. 3 hours they drove. If you really mean in your heart that you're ready to step on board and support your coalition, I would like you to say voluntarily, this time I draw the line. Ready? Go. This time I draw the line. I believe from this point forward that your team is here. Now all we have to do is lead them.
Thank you. It's an honor to present with this group and to present to this group. Sergeant, you sobered up the crowd. You got their attention. But I will tell you, I was doing weekend work here in Wilmington for about 7 years. And I can tell you what kind of people are here. They're kind of people who take off their coats, they roll up their shirt sleeves, and they get the job done. So you are the right messenger at the right time, and this group will respond, because I know they will. I want to start with 3 observations that seem very self-evident, but there'll be a context for my remarks today. The first one, kids will network to get in trouble. Anybody in education and law enforcement, you know if parents are out of the house and a student has a cell phone, within an hour, 100 students will be in that house. And if you think that's shocking, Sergeant, I'm going to ask you to get their attention again, because that is absolutely true. Network allows them to mass congregate at a moment's notice. Now here's the good part of this. We can and must network to keep one step ahead of them, to keep them out of trouble. So we'll use the same techniques against them or stay one step ahead of them. Second, a remark from Joseph Califano. He used to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Now he's in charge of the National Center on Addictive and Substance Abuse out of Columbia University called CASA. The overwhelming evidence supports that the modeling that happens at home will still have the greatest effect on how kids ultimately behave. By at home, I certainly mean parents, but I also mean the local community. So here's the hope out of the message you delivered. Our work, our modeling, is the best resource we have, although I'll have to include God because I'm my occupation. Our families and our community is the best resource we have. And then finally, a hope-filled statement: a child who gets through age 21 without smoking, using illegal drugs, or abusing alcohol is virtually certain never to do so. If we can keep them off dangerous substances until they are 21, we have accomplished something very powerful. So keep those three things in mind. As true as those insights are, I think, Christine, you've asked me to present kind of an alternative view. What do kids bring to the table? What are their strengths? So with that in mind, I want to make two sets of comments. The first one, what we can offer kids. And the second one, what they can offer us. We can give them our respect and a non-judgmental approach. Do you remember the days when we thought bad kids used drugs? Just like the old days of the Westerns, where the guys in the white hats were the good guys and those in the black hats were the bad guys because of the black and white films. That characterization is no longer accurate. Some of our best kids are experimenting with dangerous behaviors and dangerous substances. And it comes home, and I really ask you to do this. I want you sometime today to have the thought, my kids might have tried drugs. Your first inclination is going to be say, not my kid. But this only comes home when you begin to think, my kids could be dabbling. And I'll tell you this, if they're not dabbling, they know kids who are. It is that close. Second, we can provide something kids need more than anything, good role models. Many of the speakers referred to that in their presentations. We can provide good direction, the fruit of our experience. But that implies we're working on ourselves. So here's the second nice message today. We start by looking right here. What kind of role model am I for the young people in this community? I continue to be surprised in the field of education that we give the message that you cannot celebrate without alcohol present. That's an adult message. When you want to say, why are kids doing this, and there's a variety of reasons, some of that are chickens coming home to roost. I've been at graduation parties celebrating the accomplishment of kids. And the kids are in one place, and the adults are all drinking somewhere else. And I've been at parties where that's sort of, the keg was left out there because it's a celebration. Anybody can have it because you're on our property. That's not trust. That's irresponsibility. I continue to be amazed at adults who promote this behavior by turning a blind eye to unsupervised parties. And I'm absolutely shocked that adults provide alcohol and other drugs to other people's kids on their property, saying, I'm supervising this. You're teaching them it's okay. You're teaching them the adult world says, go ahead and celebrate in this fashion. That's our fault. That's not the kids' fault. Young people need good examples, and we must be the best example. we have to look at our own chemical use. And we have to look at the ways we send the message, it's okay to celebrate. And it's okay, let me add one more. It's okay to avoid pain by using chemicals. We can educate young people about the risk factors. In the general population, basically it's a 10 to 20% possibility, chance, that you will have an addictive problem with drugs or alcohol. That's the general population. If you have a problem user on one side of your family of origin, that shoots your percentage up to 50%. It's a coin toss, and I will bring a quarter into the classroom and just go right up and down the row. And you should see how the kids, at first it's kind of fun, and then they just stop, because I will walk right up to them, flip the coin, and ask them to call heads or tails, and based on their answer, you've got something in your body that's going to handle alcohol and chemical substances differently, or you don't. If you have a member on both sides of the family that are problem users, your percentage jumps to 80%. Kids ought to know that. The same way, if we talk regularly, if you have cancer in your family, here's the things you have to do. If you have diabetes in your family, here's what you have to do. If you have heart disease in your family, here's what you have to do. Do we sit them down in health classes and say, this is the same kind of risk because it's a similar disease? If you have these risk factors, here's the choices you have to make. Here's the lifestyle you have to embrace. And I tell them, of all the diseases I can have, I would take chemical dependence over almost anything. I can still eat sweets. I can still eat chocolate, which are my downfall. Oops. So we have to instruct them in the same way we instruct them about other dangers. We can assist our students by teaching them refusal skills. I remember going to a talk, and the person said, the most successful educational campaign in recent history in the United States has been telling kids drugs are bad. If you go to any classroom and ask any student, tell me about drugs, the first they're going to say is, they're bad. Now, did we teach them what to say and what to do when they are in a bunch of peers in an unsupervised party and someone says, here's a drink, here's a hit? They know this is not a good thing. Now, who has skilled them that they can say, I'm in athletic competition and they drug test, so I really can't? Whether it's true or not, do we give them an excuse to get off the spot? It's called a refusal skill, and it's something we can do. We've taught them why they should refuse. Let's teach them how to refuse. We must teach young people how to recognize dangerous behaviors and confront them, because guess what? They know it quicker than the adults do. I remember one of my first years at Providence. I was sitting and talking to a bunch of juniors. It was during the summer, and they had some kind of basketball league. So I'm talking to them, and they were all bemoaning the fact that one of their classmates was expelled and would not be coming back for their senior year. It's really unfair, they said. He was here for 3 years, and he won't graduate with his class. He's got to go to another school. Well, all I can tell you, I said, is I was on the board that expelled him. And he was late to class. He was late to school. He wasn't turning in assignments. His disciplinary record was this long. So he was communicating to us he did not want to be here. They said, Father, did you know he was smoking marijuana every day in the morning in the car before he came to class? And then it hits me like a ton of bricks. I'm supposed to be the professional here. Why didn't I see those signs? And for one quick second got the guilt, and then immediately said, what did you guys say to him? You guys knew he was going out to the car and using. Did any of you ever say, this is going to get you in trouble? And they do the classic, Head goes down. They look at their feet. I said, I'll take my part of the responsibility that I should have seen the warning signs. Are you going to take your part of the responsibility that it happened right in front of you every day and none of you said anything? We can teach them basic awareness of confrontational skills, which, learned in this field, translate across the board. Say, Sergeant, I don't know you at all, so I'll just use you as the example, okay? But I appreciate your enthusiasm and energy and your knowledge and your candor. First step, a statement of my accurate relationship with him. If I said, Sergeant, we're best friends, and immediately he knows this is going nowhere. But I've said something to him that is absolutely true because I meant it. The second part, I will make up. We were at a party last night, and I saw you over drinking. You were dancing on a table. At least I didn't see it. Maybe he did, but at least I didn't see it. No, I made that up. But you stick to the fact, if I in fact saw that. Third, I was shocked, my own feeling, and I was afraid because I knew you were going to get into a car, and I was afraid for yourself and anyone on the way home. A proposal of a solution. Let's go talk to someone. We'll agree on who we can talk to, and I'll take you there and we'll go together. And finally, repeat the statement of concern. You obviously have had a good career, you have a promising future. I'd hate to see that go to waste. Thank you for letting me use this model. And that translates across the board. In confronting someone who works for you or with you, in someone confronting you, a higher up, those skills translate. It's the same thing. It's a mini intervention. We can and should teach kids that. We can and should teach kids about self-reflection and awareness. We walk with them through their first heartbreak, through their first falling in love, through their first disappointment, through their first experience of death and grief. When I ask them, how does that feel, they will begin with the classic, it sucks. Okay? Can we get a little bit clearer on that? Can you label some feelings? I feel confused, I feel hurt, I feel abandoned, I feel angry. Excellent. Now, can we help them explore those feelings to teach them, don't run from them by chemical use, which is what our whole society is saying. If you feel bad, take something for it. Can we help them explore the natural feeling that accompanies that? I use the example, a dear friend of mine, Father Ray Ryan, died last year. He was 80 years old and a beautiful man, a gift from God. When he died, I was incredibly saddened. And I told the kids, I wear that sadness as a badge because I put time into the relationship and so did he. It's natural to say I'm sad, to feel I'm sad. I can go get a drink or get a substance to help dim those feelings, but he's worth that much. And I'm worth that much. We can accompany kids through this and teach them how to respond. In a society that says, if you're feeling bad, take a pill, take a hit, take a drink. Likewise, we should be teaching kids about the natural highs in life. Sit them down and talk to them about friendship, what it's like to, when you're feeling bad, to call a friend or to go talk to someone. That's a natural high. The things that nature, a walk on a beautiful day, it's outside, I can't wait to get out of here, no offense to you. It's a beautiful day outside. Meditation, having them take deep breaths, especially in pain, to get right inside. Where's this coming from? I'm privileged to go on, Christine, you said the Kairos retreat, where we have 50 to 60 teenagers sit quietly for 17 to 25 minutes at a time. My guess is a lot of us couldn't do that. And when you do, because the first thing you get through is fingers always got to be moving, they always got to be. Once you get into the quiet of meditation, 60 kids are absolutely silent. And when they come out of it, they will say, that's the most powerful experience I've had in I don't remember when. Because we live in a world of distraction, and they like when it's introduced to them. Go inside. The other thing I appreciate, where Paula went, I think she set the tone by saying one of the things of the coalition is spiritual development. We can take that anywhere you want to go with regard to religion, but let's stay with spirituality. St. Augustine from the 4th century noted, "You have made us for yourself, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you." Every person, whether you are religious or not, has a part of your heart that is unsettled. I really believe one of the factors with regard to abuse is kids and adults trying to fill that hole which cannot be filled. There's an openness to spirituality. There's an openness to God. Why not embrace that hurt sometimes? Teach the kids to embrace it instead of telling them to run from it. Boy, there's an awful lot you can learn from looking inside at that. And you'll miss it. You'll sabotage it if you turn to alcohol and other drugs. What can kids give to us? I see in young people a wealth of energy, a deep idealism, and a strong desire to participate in building a better world. Generally, young people are deeply committed to making the world a better place. Even those with a tough exterior, believe it or not, want to be part of a bigger thing. They want to feel connected. Volunteer hours and service projects, and I know every teacher in here is going to say, does he work with my kids? No, I work with our kids, and there is some tension when you first propose that. But I have to tell you, once you give them the taste of helping someone else, and one of the things I do when kids come to me with difficulties, I will say, if you're feeling bad, don't take a drug, don't take a pill, do something nice for someone else. It's simple. We don't even think about it. But a selfless act does incredible things for yourself. Kids have that, and when they've tasted volunteer and service, they love it and they want to be leaders in that area. We can teach students what I just said about identifying and confronting problem behaviors. That extends our outreach and our scope. I love the programs that have kids on kids. The drug court does that. Peer mediation does that. Peer ministry does that. Peer witnessing. Kids getting up in front of kids and telling their stories is much more powerful than almost any adult who goes in front of them. Use the kids. They would like to serve in those roles. And they also give us valuable insights about ourselves. They have a BS detector. So as you start talking, they will let you know quickly if they think you're on board or not. Sometimes they'll do it in an undiplomatic way. But I tell you, I welcome that because they can reveal a lot about ourselves and about our community if we would just listen. These have just been a few observations on a cooperative approach to confront the problem of substance abuse. It's worth our time and our resource and our efforts, because in this way we do what the title of this event asks us to do. We serve our kids,
We're going to be
we
giving
save
you
our
a
communities.
small gift, and this is from the Wilmington Coalition to you for taking the time and coming. It's a small organza bag that was donated from Baskerville, Freitag, and Reeves Funeral Home. Inside there's a Hershey's hug, and that's a hug from us to you for participating. There's a small pocket stone that's simply engraved hope, and that's from us to you, the hope that you work with us. And then there's a card with integrity principles based on Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements. That's our agreement to you that we're going to work with you with integrity towards the betterment of our communities. And you can take it and see it in a nice little gift, but you can also do something very meaningful with that gift, which is to take it with you and pay it forward to someone that is struggling with some of these issues. somebody that's depressed, somebody that's mentally ill, addicted to substances, or just lonely. And you can tell them that this is a hug from you, that there's always a little bit of hope, and that each and every one of us has that integrity inside of us. They just have to be still and listen and go to that place. Please pay it forward.